Ben McAvoy up forward with Revolt, and it's Koschitzki against Seaby at the first bounce. Third year in a row St Kilda and Sydney have played in round one, and the Saints have won them both in Melbourne though. Revolt a possession here inside the 50. Schneider well covered. Oh, Koschitzki crashing in and taking Malcheski, who is in big trouble. It has gone unobserved by the umpire, or at least unreacted upon. Here's White for Sydney as the Swans turn adversity into something. Jack, though, hemmed in on the boundary. Still the Swans hold it in. White back for another go. Now Moore swinging it to full forward. Goods overwhelmed there. Koschitzki not paid the mark, it seemed. Gets it to Montagna. Now to Graham, who nearly won the Norm Smith medal last September. Wonderful performance on grand final day to Peake and back to Graham, and now to Revolt, who's come beyond the wing.
Interesting to see Big Cozzy covering so much territory. He's working his way back to full forward and might yet be involved if Milne can get it cleanly down along the line, which he does effectively here. So McAvoy's got it now. Cozzy must be exhausted. He's back in the goal square. He comes up now, but he couldn't climb that mountain. And great defensive work by the Swans, and Seaby's able to relieve, and Hughes O'Keefe. And now they're rolling on the half-back line with Bolton.
Interesting to see Koschitzki run so hard. As you said, Hutto, covered 200 metres. His NAB Cup form is really ordinary, and I think he's just decided, I'm going to get myself into the contest in round one. He's laid a big shirt front, taken Malcheski off the ground. There he is. He's gone straight off. And
he's certainly done it, hasn't he? He had an impact.
Ted Richards now for Sydney. Part of this modern-day Swans Foreign Legion.
It's to me.
Now Roberts Thompson. Forced sideways. And Kennelly's going to get his hands on the ball, and that'll please Sydney fans. What a story he is. Premierships with Sydney and County Kerry in 2005 and 2009. Swans building. Grundy up the half-forward flank. White's been busy. Should have held on to that. Now, let's go back to the opening seconds of the game. Koschitzki crashing Malcheski. I reckon he got some chin there, but no response.
That'll be seriously looked at for mine. Want to protect the player, and the head-high contact. When past the foot, he made head-high contact. That will be looked at.
McAvoy.
And hold of him, Lee Montagna. No advantage, Lee Montagna.
So it comes back to Montagna, who's going to use the run of Goddard, who lets fly into the vacant territory in the middle of the ground. 3 Swans and a Saint. And it's Lewis Roberts Thompson who just releases at the right time. Kennelly heads wide for Richards. He's about a kick and a half out from goal. Jesse White holds his ground deep, and that's where the ball's headed. But it's going to be Goods who gets there first. Acrobatic and so close to taking a big mark, as we had another look at the early action.
Well, he certainly forgot about going for the football, Cozzy, and I would say he has a case to answer.
Malcheski was going to ground a little bit, which I guess will be argued, but
Koschitzki did try to get low, didn't he? But the onus is on you not to get the head.
Now they've picked out a free here. And it's going to Kieran Jack, some 30 metres out from goal.
Goddard holding on.
He's kicked 24 goals, 19 in his career, Kieran Jack.
Yes, mate.
And from about 35 metres, should be able to put the Swans on the board. He does that, but not in the way he had hoped.
Take another look at Justin Koschitzki here. Run past the footy. In the old days, everything was tucked up, didn't leave the ground, but as Tim said, the onus now is not to make head-high contact. He made plenty of head-high contact, and that will be looked at.
Move it on. Play on. Play on.
This is Clint Jones,
Play on you.
who from memory took a wonderfully courageous mark in the dying moments to get St Kilda across the line against Sydney a couple of years back. Willing contest here in midfield. O'Keefe finds his way out of the pocket. Gives to the 33-year-old heartbeat of this team, Kirk. Off to Grundy. And that's a well-placed kick for Moore. Not a tall man, but it was weighted perfectly for him, and the contact came from in front, and it's a free kick to Jared Moore. And he's about 30 out on an angle.
There's the front-on contact, as you called, Tim. So as soon as Baker turns around and goes back and takes his eye off the foot, he makes front-on contact. That is an automatic free kick.
Tough angle. Difficult pocket. Not a bad effort, but it's a little narrow. So it's another behind. Sydney making the pace early, but haven't hit the bullseye yet.
So kick in from Goddard finds Gwilt, one of 5 players that wasn't in the grand final team there. Straight over the boundary line. So they look a little rusty at this very early stage.
They do. Nick Riewoldt in picture at centre half forward. Heath Grundy, his opponent. That's a surprise. I thought Craig Bolton would take him.
Inside 50 is 3-2 at the moment in favour of the Swans. That's where the ball's been most of the time. And that's where it is now. Getting nearly over the top of it. Umpire to try and sort things out. What was the main basis, Das, that you went for the Swans?
I just had a feeling that they have really improved over the summer. More belief. They know the Saints game plan inside out. Paul Roos, obviously with his relationship with Ross Lyon. I just got a feeling up here in Sydney round 1. A lot of time to prepare. I think they'll win.
And they've started well, but they just can't find the middle at the moment. O'Keefe, it is missing on this occasion. He's made a smart start with 4 disposals so far.
Shows the versatility of Craig Bolton. He's actually running with Stephen Milne.
Remarkable player, isn't he? 2-time All-Australian, the blonde-haired Sydney defender. Goddard brings it into play, and again, St Kilda, little careless.
They probably didn't have anyone else, really, did they, to play on Milne? No, Paul Bevan's an emergency. So, certainly an interesting choice, the way they've done it.
So Sydney continue to attack. 3 shots at goal, they've all missed. Seaby the tap, but Del Santo the clearance. It's going to come back whence it came. Grundy, Reshaw, and Goods. So they can have another shot if Goods chooses to do so.
If you came here tonight expecting to see a 20-goal to 18 shootout style of game, then you're going to be disappointed. So for Sydney to have 4 early shots on goal, they want to start converting because there won't be too many of them. They need to start getting reward for effort because they've really dominated possession early.
They dominated the first quarter in round 1 last year, kicked 5 goals to 1 and looked as though they were going to blow St Kilda away, then didn't kick another goal till the last quarter. That is a magnificent kick from Adam Goods. Swans have the first.
I like the setup of the Sydney forward line at the moment. Jesse White, improved athletic player. Adam Goods is a start. I think they've just got to keep him there at centre forward all year, regardless of what happens. Throw Daniel Bradshaw in there. Ben McGlynn's a really good addition. Ryan O'Keefe, an All-Australian. All of a sudden, you're looking at a pretty dangerous, potent, well-balanced forward line.
St Kilda struggling to get their hands on the ball. Adam Goods puts through the goal that takes Paul Roos' side to a 9-point advantage 8 minutes into the opening term.
Gwilt playing on Goods and Blake at full back on Bradshaw.
King now into the ruck. Taps it down to McVeigh and Kirk, who bounces up. Sends the Swans forward. Here's Graham, able to ride out a couple of bumps and then send the Saints forward. Not much for them there. McGualter arrives just in time, but can't handle it cleanly. Swans certainly showing them how to do it at the moment. Malcheski, no real ill effects from that early bump. And again, the Swans collaborating beautifully through the midfield. Kirk, his 4th disposal.
It's against Jesse White for putting King down. Heard the umpire say off the ball, and it is the correct call.
And a needless one, because the Swans certainly had possession of the ball and were heading forward. Here's Lenny Hayes, has recovered from his pre-season injury. What a dynamic player and what a leader he is. Very low kick and un-Lenny Hayes like, un-St Kilda like. Not exactly Saints footy at the moment. Into the middle of the ground. McVeigh sends it through, and this is Shaw, and it opens up on the other side. There's a bit of space, most of it towards the boundary line. And that's where it heads with Jared Moore, and that's where it ends.
And Jesse White putting Stephen King down. It's just the only problem with it was a long way off where the ball was.
So Mumford and King now in the ruck for their respective teams. Peake gets his hands on it and his boot to it for the Saints. Bolton, Milne bringing him down. Grundy mopping up. Jetta, just rolled down his arm. There is some magic about this youngster.
Don't the fans love it? And Hutto and I were saying when we were down on the ground, Sydney fans wear the colours more than any other team's supporters.
He is a Swan to his bootstraps. Played for Swan districts in the West. Here's Moore. Couldn't break. Drew them to him, though. And Sydney a chance. Josh Kennedy needs to get rid of it. Gave it up. Goddard to Armitage. And now Blake very wide. Too wide. Sydney will keep attacking. It is one-way traffic, but they haven't really got value for money yet.
Which, as we said, you just need to do against St Kilda. But they are looking decidedly ordinary at the moment, the Saints. But credit must go to the Swans, who have made all the running so far. And O'Keefe, prime member of their side.
Inside 50, number 7 for Sydney. Early stages, 10 minutes into the first term. Last year it was almost impossible to get inside 50 against St Kilda.
Big kick from O'Keefe. You'd expect nothing less. Gets the journey, gets the goal. They lead by 15.
Well, he's made himself into a class midfielder. For a decade he was a class half forward. Wanted to play in the midfield, got himself really fit 12 months ago. Paul Roos gave him opportunity, and O'Keefe repaid with a magnificent season of football. Started off this year just as well.
Glorious finish by Ryan O'Keefe.
Have a look at that stat on screen there, Tim. Time in possession, Sydney 69% of the time they've had the footy. 11 minutes gone. They are absolutely dominating at the moment.
Had his hands round Hayes.
Sydney's ball again. No.
Paid a free to Hayes, offsetting free.
They're red hot on this at the moment.
Hang on. Hold. You've paid a free to Sydney, so it's one at the same time. Simultaneous free kicks, we bounce.
Okay, all explained.
Yeah. One umpire gave it to Sydney, one umpire gave it to St Kilda, so let's have a rebounce.
It's just a bounce.
Umpire McBurney off the square, he picked up a holding decision. There was a ruck free kick at the same time, so throw it up.
Mumford the tap. Sydney's ball again. Kennedy extracting. McVeigh, Richards, and the Swans are doing it at will. Now Jetta got himself over onto the near wing. Thought about it. There is a look of intelligence about his football. White, O'Keefe. Awkward for Jack. The hand pass came quickly and just not quite in the right spot. Hayes to McWalter. Now Blake, uncertain. Uncertainty written all over the Saints at the moment. Ray just bombs long in hope. He's gone to the right man, but he's well covered. Heath Grundy with revolt. Now let's have a look at the free kicks in the middle. I've never seen that before. A bit like a jump ball in basketball, a double foul.
So there's the one to Lenny Hayes being held by Josh Kennedy, and it was a ruck free kick at the same time.
Saints finally venture forward again, only for the third time. Kazitsky, again the focus. Lewis Roberts-Thompson giving him a bit of extra attention, and we'll have a ball up. The other startling stat at the moment is just the disposal efficiency, something like 85% to 65% at the moment. And it's normally the other way around with the Saints as they put opposition teams under pressure. Another free kick plucked out. And it goes to O'Keefe. What a wonderful start. 7th disposal. Has kicked a goal.
Go out there, mate. Move it on.
Best and fairest winner. And as we said, a marvellous player. Getting close to the 200 mark. And number 187 from Ryan O'Keefe. And it goes to Josh Kennedy.
No, he's on the mark.
Sydney have had a great history of recycling players and just getting them to do the job that they want them to. Reece Shaw last year, Marty Matner from the Adelaide Crows. Josh Kennedy, I reckon, really looks like a Sydney type of player to me.
He already averages 20 disposals a game, so getting the footy's not a problem for him. This looks a little better from the Saints. Kazitsky again is the focus, and this time he's done enough. Draws the free. Nice ball from Armitage.
Nice bit of play by Schneider. Tap it to the advantage.
Big one for the confidence then of Justin Kazitsky. 48 goals last year. It's something like 92% of his scores from set shots. And there's that kicking efficiency. Look at that. Look at the difference. 83% to 53%. Staggering difference. Big ball from Kozitzki, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's a mighty kick to get the Saints on the board.
Spoke a bit about Justin Kozitzki in the NAB Cup Grand Final as a player that takes a while almost to find his form and his awareness and his vision and his timing. I think tonight he's come out and said, I'm just going to get into the contest. He's laid a big shirt front, took Malcheski out of the game, we'll probably looked at, ran about 400 metres in the first minute and a half just to try and get a bit of a blow, and that goal will do his confidence the world of good.
Marty Mattner in picture with Goddard, but Mattner's been playing on Gilbert. Mattner usually plays in defence. He's been up forward mainly as a defensive player, and Gilbert yet to have a possession. He's done his job really well, has Mattner.
McAvoy against Mumford. It's Sydney's ball. Richards, Shaw, Kennelly, Shaw, Kennelly, and the Swans work their way out of it. Kick a little strong for Jude Bolton. Del Santo, now Geary. And St Kilda with a man loose. It's Graham. He is a long kick. The goal's unguarded. He goes for it and curls it home beautifully. And suddenly the Saints have two.
There's Jason Graham.
He's become such an important player. St Kilda's best in the grand final. That would have given him enormous confidence to know that he could deliver on the day where it really mattered. And he's just a run and carry player. Runs his 15-20 metres and can kick at 60.
We talked about the Swans needing to capitalise on their dominance. We've seen exactly why in the last 60 seconds. As the Saints have hit back with consecutive goals. Only 3 points the difference now.
Both sides have now got a player loose. It's Sam Gilbert at one end for the Saints. Malcheski floating around at halfback for the Swans.
Mumford, and it's Goddard, and again to Graham and Del Santo. So the big names getting a bit of a feel for the footy. That is a skyscraper to half forward. And fairly aimless kick as it turns out. Bolton gets it across to Shaw, who's coming in for yet another possession. That's number 9 already for Reece Shaw. To Grundy. Back along the line.
Fine there, thank you, Clinton.
Jared McVeigh at half-back.
Play on.
Well, that's the spare man that Luke just mentioned, Malcheski. Both teams playing a little bit defensive at the moment.
Daniel Bradshaw pushing right up the ground to give them some sort of avenue into attack. Wearing the number 19.
Go backwards. They go backwards a lot, Sydney, just to keep control of the ball. Time in possession, certainly Sydney's advantage. Last thing they want to do is kick it long to a contest. Just keep possession if you can. Right
now, though, that's exactly what he has to do, and they're heavily outnumbered. Jesse White did pretty well in the end to combat revolt and not allow McAvoy to take the mark. And it's over and out. So it's all very well to hold on to it, Wolsey, but when the options dry, and we've seen that a little bit this year with a number of teams, opposition teams just trying to dry up their options and make them kick it long to a contest, which they do only begrudgingly. Here's Graham working it back to Hayes. Angle on the ball, revolted amongst 3 Swans, looking for a free, won't get it. He's still looking for a free. Now taken by Malcheski, brings it through centre half back to the exciting Jetta.
He's got some toe and he's got plenty of confidence. Craig Bolton, experienced hand there with him. Jetta again. Just an ease about him. Oh, it's a lovely floating mark from Gilbert. And the game now being played very much on equal terms after Sydney dominated the first 7 or 8 minutes.
Do you think both coaches happy to have the extra man back, Das? Who does it favour?
Suits both their styles. There's Malcheski, the loose for Sydney. think they play a conservative brand of footy. Don't want to get scored against quickly. Happy to just slow things down.
Good move by the Swans. Grundy, lovely delivery to the leading White. Needed to hang on. Montagna collects.
He had some momentum up to him when he came out wide.
Now, on the rebound, Saints might be able to do some damage. Schneider floating it to Peake, who's made a pretty good start. That's a lovely kick to Milne, who can just run in and kick it off his knee. And the Saints are in front.
Well, fast attack forward. That pass to Jesse White was like a bullet, very hard for him to mark, and then they just mopped up across that half-back line. Brett Peake's kick to Milne was a beauty. First time he's been really able to get away from Craig Bolton, and the kick was so good that Superman couldn't have got there.
What might have been for the Swans?
Big turnover this, isn't it? Really one he should have taken. He had Zach Dawson covered and he just couldn't stop. Kept going through. Saints go down the other end and score.
Clinton Jones onto O'Keefe now.
And right onto the ball too, trying to get it to Del Santo. Jeddah had something to say in all of that. It spills out to the back to Geary, who's looked pretty good during the pre-season. So too has Jones. Been outstanding, mainly tagging, but had a couple of nights where he was able to get off the leash and get much of the footy himself.
It's a big win for Heath Grundy. One-on-one with Revolt. Revolt was in pretty good position and Grundy got him out the way easily.
So McVeigh across half-back for the Swans. Doesn't have a lot on at this stage. Kennedy calls for it in the middle, but McVeigh, realising at the last moment that he was covered, takes the easier option, or the safer option.
Prepared to lose ground to keep possession, Sydney.
And we saw what happened last time. They were forced to kick along to a contest. He doesn't want to this time, and he just sort of kicks it to the nowhere man, and Milne takes it over. So we know about St Kilda's amazing ability to be able to choke other teams, and of course that was part of the attributes that helped the Swans be such a good team during the mid-period of the last decade. So they are well matched. Free kick goes to Goddard, who moves it quickly because Revolt's got away, and you back him here every time. Oh, it had to be a free.
It's interesting. Two umpires, 20 metres from each other, both with the perfect view, and Luke and I are looking at each other. One decided to play the free kick, the other didn't.
Been stiff, the Swans. The Kajitsky free kick and goal was iffy, and that one likewise.
I think that's a free, isn't it, Daz?
Second look at that, I think the umpire actually got that right. Took his eye off the footy and really grabbed hold of the arm, which is what the rule is there to be paid for.
So Nick Revolt for goal number 399 in his career, and that was never going to miss. All of a sudden they lead by 9 points.
Great response from the Saints. They looked really flat in the first 8 or 9 minutes. Didn't have possession. Their structures didn't seem right. No ability to use the footy. Kicking efficiency was down around 50%. They've just put the foot down, opened the play up a little bit, kicked 4 quick goals.
This is a first, Das. You've paid the free kick. I've had my reservations.
We're normally on the other end of the ledger, Tim. What are your thoughts seeing that again? I'm pretty confident that's a free kick.
Yeah. Was it the hand in the back or the chop on the arm?
Chop on the arm.
Yep. Okay, Saints have 4. And they are rolling now, and they have taken control. Jones wide for Armitage. Goes beyond Revolt. Chance here for St Kilda. Swans defenders closing. Grundy been pretty good so far, and Revolt's 1 goal coming from that free a moment ago.
Bit of Saints footy there, Hutto.
Yeah.
Bash and crash, locked the ball in. Del Santo's gone into the forward line, and his tag, Kirk, has gone with him. At this stage, Kirk 6 disposals, Del Santo 4.
Seavey, King, Kajitsky, the second ruckman, bringing it to the back. Jack just soccering it away, gaining a bit of territory, but it's all St Kilda. Gilbert, Hayes, awkward for him, had to wait under the high hand pass. Geary gets it out, bangs it, Revolt low down. Gee, just about a free kick for in the back there. Kajitsky, Del Santo, number 5 left to St Kilda.
Well, I just bashed and crashed it forward the Saints. A mongrel kick almost to mark the revolt. Kept the ball alive, and the big fella Kazitsky able to bend down and set that one up for Del Santo, who was just been moved into the forward line.
All the Swans players are on off their feet, weren't they, Das? And that's a big one for the Saints, who all of a sudden lead by 15. Just wondering if you'd like to change a tip at this stage, Luke.
I'll stick with the Swans.
Geary gets it back to Hayes. And they're into action again. What a contrast to the first 15 minutes. Montagna could have gone short to revolt, but again, that percentage decision was to make sure he finds a teammate, and it's Graham.
Just not winning the footy at the moment, Sydney. When they are, first 8 or 9 minutes, Hutto, they really took a chance. They were kicking it well through the corridor. Kicking efficiency was up to 85%, and now they just started slowing down, going down the line. Saints get the footy back, and they are using it a lot better by foot.
High ball from Ray out to the wing. Now Swans do have an extra number here, and Bradshaw made use of it. Well done. It's over and out.
Sam Gilbert really struggled in the first part of this game. He couldn't get near it. Mattner was his opponent, number 29, and then they went spare man in defence each, which freed this fella up, and he's been able to get himself 4 or 5 valuable touches.
McVeigh, hurried one. Gives an opportunity for Bradshaw, but that quickly disappeared. And Blake is able to lead White to the ball. Now off to Graham. They're breaking to this side of the ground. Gilbert made up so much ground to be able to take the chest mark there.
Good point, Rob. He's not the sort of player, I think, that you let free at any stage. He's almost a defensive forward type of role, because if he gets his confidence up, he's so dangerous. That kick just going across the boundary line. But you're right, they let him go free. Now he's into the game and up and running.
Last 12 minutes, the contested possession count is 15-5. In favour of St Kilda. Gilbert with 4 disposals for the night. Boundary umpire does his thing right on the wing as King tries to serve his smaller men. Whistle, free kick to Sydney.
Right out, Jared.
The margin is 15 points as we close in on quarter time.
Importance of conversion. In the first half of the quarter, Sydney had 5 shots at goal, missed 3 gettable ones. They're 2-3. St Kilda have set theirs up a little more precisely, and they've kicked 5 straight. Swans building to something here. Mattner, powerful left boot, doesn't exercise it to the fullest here. Is
50.
That 50? Oh, what a needless mistake from Andrew McWalter. And that will bring Nick Malcheski to within point-blank range.
Well, that is the rule we saw applied right across the NAB Cup, Tim. If you decide to go on with it a little bit.
Now this is a similar mistake to one that happened in round 1 at the MCG a few years ago in a match between Collingwood and North. That infringement occurred about 3 metres outside the 50. Now he needs to kick this. He does. Sydney get the goal. But we'll have a look at that.
Refresh my memory, Tim. It was round 1.
Shannon Grant.
Shannon Grant. Yeah, now have a look where this occurs in relation to the 50. Maybe it's a little further out than I described it, but you'll find that McWalter is... Oh, no, it's not... I take it back. It's a much better decision than the one that was made at the MCG 3 years ago.
Important goal, nevertheless, because it was 5 in a row to the Saints, with the Swans having kicked the first 2. So a really silly 50-metre penalty. Important goal. Gets the Swans back into it.
Margin is 9 now. Only 2 minutes to go till quarter time. Mumford against King, 2 former Cats. Out onto the wing, McGlynn, Montagna, and Shaw. And Montagna wins the day, but he had no mates to handball to at all. So he looks a little worse for wear there, Montagna, as he gets up.
Ben McGlynn given the tagging job on Montagna.
He's sort of the perfect player for that. He can run all day. Former Hawk, Ben McGlynn. It's Bolton. So they are winning a little bit of the contested stuff now, the Swans. As Jack sends them inside 50. Gilbert loves to just float over the top and cause some trouble, which he did then. Blake and Graham and Gwilt, and then Gilbert again.
Got to make Sam Gilbert more accountable. If you let someone play a high half forward, he'll drift back, and he's turned himself into an elite player now, Sam Gilbert. Can't allow him that much space.
Well, he's good in the air, Luke, and equally as good at ground level.
Play on!
Here's Zach.
Play on!
Dawson from half back. He's just going to go long and set it up. Revolt Kane. Is there free there? Yes.
On the full. Now.
Mumford can't believe it. He kicks it back, and that'll be 50, won't it?
He said on
No?
the full, and it was grub it, and the umpire let it go.
Okay. Revolt sets it up. It's quite open up there. Ready for Milne if it hits the ground. It does. And Stephen Milne just couldn't take it cleanly at the handball. Hates doing that. Well, the old Milne did. The new Milne doesn't mind it. Peak goes in hard. Mumford. And now they can run out of defence. Clean kick, Melcheski. Another fumble. It is breezy out there. We should go down to Neil Cordian some stage to get a feel for what the conditions are like out on the ground, despite the warm weather. Here's O'Keefe, who started in a blaze of glory. Lovely handball to Goods. Swans away. It is really open. It's even more so now as the ball is up for grabs inside the 50. Blake looked a little clumsy. Left it behind, but he had support. And it's Revolt, so all hands on deck. Back for Graham.
And an effortless takeaway here as he had Gilbert in space and Del Santo out wide. The options up ahead aren't so clear, and Del Santo knows it, and he probably knows that the quarter is virtually at its end. And now it does come to a close, with St Kilda having kicked 5 goals straight after the Swans got the first couple, leading by 9 points.
Let's see how it goes in this second term.
Indeed, the margin 9 points, and we're ready to go. With the big fella Kazitsky having a run in the ruck against Seaby, and so he really wants to get involved into the thick of it. High ball into the 50. McAvoy's playing at full forward, comes out of the square now to take the ball. Snyder there, and Hayes keeps it low for Milne. No, wasn't a good kick. Made it tough for Milne, who had the right idea in trying to keep the ball moving for the Saints, knocking it over his head when he knew he couldn't take the mark.
I think it's a good idea to get Kazitsky into the ruck, get him into the play, get the blood running. I reckon they should have Kazitsky ruck about 5 minutes of every quarter, just to get the big fella going.
He comes at that contest late. Hayes was there as well, but that's Jack with the clearing kick. Moore, Goddard, Hayes again. A few more fumbles. Bolton put the head down. Moore around the corner. Blake controlled it through the air to Del Santo. It was slick Saints footy that time. Gilbert to centre half forward. On the bounce, Kazitsky again through a crowd, and it's Shaw and Seaby. And now Grundy and Roberts Thompson. They've almost sorted this out. They're a couple of possessions away from getting a player clear. They've had to go very wide to achieve that, and by the time Grundy's taken the mark, the Saints have most bases ahead covered. That O'Keefe's still able to get loose from Big McAvoy. Now trying to find a loose man might be a little bit more difficult. Just achieves his aim and finds Melcheski across half back.
Clint Jones running with McVeigh now.
Shaw and Kennelly placing that ball to neither of the leading forwards, but they come out of it with a free kick.
Well, Gwilt held on. There was no need to do it, but he knows he's on a star, and a little bit of panic set in with the young Saint.
Goods with a 5 centimetre height advantage there. Now, Seaby was the target at the fall as Kurt. Not a goal kicker, but with the trusty old left boot, he's wobbled home.
Smart kick it was from Adam Goods. Summed it up really well. Seaby had a mismatch. He was opposed to Montagna. So Goods just pulled the trigger, gave him the opportunity one-on-one. Kirky at the back, called it beautifully, Tim. They don't often spin perfectly, but he somehow manages just to squeeze them through more often than not.
So this game is levelled up again, courtesy of a lovely snap from Brett Kirk. And we're into the action again. Hayes couldn't get it clear the first time. Kirk was making his presence felt. McAvoy got the knees dirty, did well to bend down. Jones's kick, a nightmare for the forwards. Snyder likes it better when it's on the ground, and that's where it was when he collected. Low ball, not what. Oh, fell in the lap of Revolt. He won't get many easier than that. He looked dispirited as the kick came in.
Well, the Clint Jones kick was just an absolute mongrel floater. It landed and then kicked to the advantage of Schneider. His kick wasn't all that good either. He didn't really get onto it, and just enough to get over Grundy's fingertips and lob in Riewold's lap.
Heath Grundy won't enjoy seeing this again. It's a shank of a kick. He's got his name written all over it, and he just tried to palm it down as a defender. That's got to go about 15 rows back, or as far out as there as it possibly can.
Kennelly beaten by the bounce, which really started it. I don't know whether he's got the feel of it yet. Ty coming back, and well, he mightn't. Craig Bolton, Milne's opponent, finds Seaby, just juggled it on the fingertips.
Well, he's played on then, Seaby. Very lucky to get away with that.
Surely it's one or the other there. It's either play on or a free kick.
Here's Kennelly, who has so often inspired Sydney when they've needed lifting. Out wide to Jack. Spearing it. Awkward on the lead for, is it Matner? Wrapped up in the...
He's going to play a hole in the ball there.
No, reset.
Both teams still going with an extra man in defence. And Malcheski, the Sydney one, and Gilbert trying to be the free man, but Matner going with him, which means Dawson's free.
Gilbert hoists it, and Revolt's the only man standing. No one with him. And away go the Saints.
Big open forward line here, because he's got a one-on-one.
Del Santo, lovely probing ball as you'd expect. Kuzitsky can run in and kick the easiest goal. Swans defence in disarray.
Good players make good decisions, don't they? Del Santo summed it up. All you want as a forward is a one-on-one. Doesn't have to be a perfect kick. You see there, go back. He just points to him and says, look, I'll put it in the right spot. You run back with the flight. Smart play from Del Santo.
So they've got away. Sorry, Luke, they've got away again. The margin 15.
Just have a look at Del Santo here. That's what a good player does. Takes a bounce, and he's just pointed then and said, go back, I'll put it into space, which is so smart. Told Kuzitsky where to run. Easy goal.
O'Keefe, on the other hand, just kicks it straight up and down. Gwilt give, and they've been able to make a nice little steal there, but Kennedy's handball a bit too slippery for Goods. Goddard held without it. Kirk likewise finds the going pretty tough in there, and it just gets a bit willing for a moment.
James Gwilt's got a lot to learn. Just gave the 1 metre handball to a teammate and put him under enormous pressure.
Funny to see Stephen Baker at a scrap, isn't it?
Well, he even aroused the fighter in the Buddhist Kirk.
Yes. Here's Gwilt. Does well that time. For Goddard, this is so open here. It's one-on-one, and there's only marginally one or two players behind that two out there. Roberts-Thompson and also Kuzitsky. Great tackling by the Saints forwards. A little bit of liberty given to Revolt. Then maybe it was holding the man. And might get it back anyway, the Swans. Milne does well this time, although he too could have gone over the shoulder. But he's won the free. Kicks quickly and well to Revolt. Has the advantage on the drop of the ball. Fairly low percentage. I guess he was under a lot of defensive stress there from Grundy, and the Swans were able to take it away through Malcheski, who's in no hurry. His teammates are telling him to move it. He decides not to.
Montagna coming off and McGlynn sprinting off with him. So that's McGlynn's job for the night. Just go everywhere that Montagna goes. Very slippery surface, this, causing a few worries.
So this is young Jetta down in the back half. And that's a confident and very well executed kick to Jude Bolton. To cover a lot of distance, and he had to get it to his man. That's not so good from Bolton, because he put it right into the path of Jason Blake. Let's go back to the moment a couple of minutes ago. Stephen Baker and Brett Kirk. And I don't think Brett Kirk appreciated the treatment meted out there by Baker. Ever aggressive, ever provocative.
No meditation there, Tim.
No, he didn't have that on his mind. Here he is now on his non-preferred side and taken over the boundary, this time by Armitage, and Reece Shaw comes in.
Kick tackled over the line, yours, Kirk.
So Kirk comes out of it with a free for being manhandled after he'd got rid of the ball and was taken over the line by Armitage into the fence. Goes to Kennelly, who goes for Craig Bolton, or beyond him now, Grundy, Revolt's man, is able to put the Swans into a good spot. A push and a free kick to Bradshaw.
Hands in the back against Zach Dawson. First real opportunity Bradshaw's had inside 50. Take a look at the replay. Yeah, that's a little shove in the back, and the beautiful kick, Daniel Bradshaw.
496 career goals. He knows where they are. Trying to kick his first in his new colours. Won't have the carry. Won't get a result immediately. There'll be a throw in. Sydney needing one. They're 15 points down. Tall forward line, Bradshaw, White, Goods, and they're kicking into aerial contests more than we're accustomed to seeing over the last few years.
Mumford doing the ruck work against King. Goods! Oh, only Adam Goods could do that.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. Well, we're going to have a look at this. This is one of the best goals you'll ever see. He knew what he was doing. Socket it. Half volley. And not just from 10, 15 metres out. He's back left of picture. Knew if he took possession, he'd be wrapped up in the tackle. Special goal.
I likes it.
Yeah, a little surprised to learn that Adam Goods was late to Aussie rules, because he was a soccer player and he hasn't lost any of those skills by the look of it.
Actually been pretty quiet so far,
yeah.
Adam Goods, even though it's his second goal.
Marching back to 9. King got the important touch there. Armitage. Crowd starting to get involved here at ANZ Stadium. A free kick picked out, and it's going to Lenny Hayes. Peak has Ray wide. So they've got all the way out to the half-forward flank to find Snyder. Now, where will the next kick go? Goes short to Ray on the overlap. Revolt standing about 25 metres out from goal. Fairly well guarded by Grundy. Big McAvoy's deep as well. So, I don't really like any of those options at this stage. Lots of Swans numbers back as they get Gwilt involved. And then King, not one that really likes to be the last man to kick it into 50. He does the job pretty well, even though it doesn't actually penetrate the paint.
They need one in 50.
McGuire's normally pretty good at hitting a target. Can't that time. Jones held without it momentarily. No free kick. Geary got the handball through. McGuire, we've seen a few of those tonight. Straight up and down. Gilbert. Goddard, look at all the players congregating around the footy, and it's Moore that shows a clean pair of heels and sets Kennelly away, who had to wait for some support, some run from behind, and it came with Lewis Jetta, who can take it at half forward, gets a call, deep in attack, running onto it is Jack, and he just can't have it clean. Got a shove, but it's okay, it's through from behind.
Yes, the distance just beyond Jetta. He couldn't really go for it himself. He did the right thing, put it in Jack's path. But everything had to go right. Shocking kick from Graham, and that's a free kick. It's gone out untouched.
Too casual. He's a good kick, and just thought this is too easy for me, and just didn't concentrate on what he needed to do.
So Jetta has it again. But again, just too far out, you would think. And again, he puts it into the right spot. Could someone take a mark? No, they can't. Jack's got it again. Couldn't get it cleanly away. Wilt. Montagna finding a way through. Dawson. Wilt again. Here's a left footer. Goes to the contest. Jetta just overcommitted there. And it allows Geary to get away from him. He's got nothing to kick to. Now, was that deliberate? Yes, it was.
He really miskicked it. I think he got the result he wanted, but he did miskick it.
Stefan Grun, the umpire. Ty Kennelly takes the free.
I'd like to have seen Lewis Jett on that play before. Just go into 50 a bit quicker. The slower it gets, St Kilda get their whole side back into defensive 50, and you can't score.
Jones and Kennedy. Jones just going for territory. Gee, very well handled by Malchesty. Looks sharp to O'Keefe. And now they're running again. Kirk services Kennedy. Low ball going to land about 35 out. Saints jumpers are closer initially. Blake couldn't handle the terrain. Now it's Dawson with the problem. Handball fairly blindly. Maybe trying to get it to Ray, but you can see the problems he's got. Jack. Shaw, who's been quelled a little in this quarter. Montagna takes it and sets up Lenny Hayes, who gives solidly away to Ray, who powers forward through the wing and kicks well to centre half forward. Schneider's got a yard or two, and Kennelly thought about continuing on, but decides to go back and have the set shot.
Gee, what we're seeing in footy, Luke, and I know we've only had a handful of games this season, but players running back with the flight of the ball marking, players pushing up to the midfield, fast breaks, kicking it over the head of their teammates, and the teammates running back with the flight of the ball to mark. Seeing more and more of it today.
Great bit of vision there of that perfect kick, as you described, Rob. Farron Ray. Snyder going back with the flight into an open 50.
Adam Snyder, who was very good in front of goal last year. Ironically, his boot let him down on grand final day. But he did kick 34 goals, 19. And this one is squeezed in.
Did it hit the post?
His body language didn't give you any clue, did it, really?
My initial reaction was that it nicked the post. I look forward to seeing it again. There's that beautiful kick.
No reaction from the Swans, Gas, which should have me thinking it probably was all clear.
My initial reaction was that he's just nicked the post, but wasn't a lot of reaction from the Swans. I just felt like there was a slight deviation on that footy. Have another look at that.
I think it's one of those ones where the shadow maybe is it. Yeah, that looked all right.
Tight thing. Schneider kicked plenty of goals for Sydney. Kicks one against them here. Untidy hand pass from Geary. Could let the Swans in. Moore's been busy in and under. Your ball up out of this. St Kilda stretching the lead to 14 points in the middle of the second term. 8 straight. St Kilda with an unblemished record. Kirk, oh, well done. Montagna spinning through, lobbing high. Schneider up in front. Milne down. Roberts Thompson, tunnel ball. Shaw, Richards. And he decides width is the order of the day. Now, if it'll sit for Del Santo, but it won't, so we'll see a throw in. It's a deliberate out is the call. Okay, Del Santo to Revolt, and he centres. Desperate lunge from Kajitsky. O'Keefe, Richards, Kennelly, quick movement by hand. Malcheski, Jude Bolton, no one to give it to. Buried. Was that a legitimate disposal? I suspected not. Now Ray's got it again for St Kilda. Revolt, very quick hands. It was well done, and Armitage swings it goalward. And now we'll get a throw in.
Trademark footy from St Kilda of 2009. The forward pressure. Here it is. You can just see this is a deliberate call from Ted Richards, which, gee, that is very, very,
it's a tough call. It's a tough call.
But I love the forward pressure that St Kilda are applying, as they did last year.
Armitage almost. Geary was just about to celebrate a goal, but free kick is going Sydney's way. Going back to Bolton. It's real All-Australian. Across the last line. Just with the way you were talking about the way footy's being played, Rob, there's going to be some very tired boys, isn't it? They've got to cover so much ground over a match. There's an ordinary kick from Kirk, but finds Jack through the middle.
Well played.
And it does open up with Big Seavey, low ball to half forward. Here's Bradshaw up to meet it. Off to Jesse White. They manoeuvre their way forward. It keeps there for him if he wants, but White wants to go longer and stronger. A bit more of the Adam Goods showed us on display. No, the umpire not giving away and not paying a free kick. Close to the line. McGlynn running out of ideas. And he's gone holding the ball.
Adam Goods still can't believe he wasn't given a free kick for that.
And first glance, it appeared to be free. Look, he's wrapped around him.
And you can hear the crowd. They're filthy.
He should have kept playing, though. He really stopped.
Oh, yeah, you've got to keep playing.
So St Kilda's ball, and Gwilt has had the big job on Goods. Zach Dawson. Milne behind the centre. Oh, Graham missing that and opening the door here for Sydney. Jack, lovely slicing ball for Goods. Just couldn't break. Gilbert holding him up. It's the move into the 50 that's bothered the Swans all night. They produced an early onslaught, but since then, cracking the St Kilda defence has been very difficult. Jared McVeigh with the footy.
Got to question this surface here at ANZ Stadium.
Goods lending the lead, and he's marked that about 48 out. So
net result, not much of an advantage.
No,
Tim, I would have thought by the time McVeigh went back over his mark, he's probably Goods kicking it from the same distance, but maybe just got a little more penetration in his foot, and by the look of it, Goods is going to have a crack at it.
He's kicked 2. He has been their best bet up forward. And that is a good-looking kick. That is superb.
Turnovers cost you. Ball dropped on the wing by Graham. Chest mark, went down low, spilt it. Quick into Sydney's forward line. Adam Goods' goal.
It's a bit more free scoring this game than we've seen previously with these two sides. They average around about 140 points a match normally, and already we're up to 88. And not even at half time yet. Adam Goods has been outstanding in this quarter. Here's Gwilt. As the Saints escape this time, out for Peak versus Jetta. Bit of pace between them. We don't get to see it though. Everyone's appealing for deliberate out of bounds now.
There's a matchup that I would like to see maybe exploited. At the other end of the ground, you've got Daniel Bradshaw on Zach Dawson. We saw Dawson get monstered by Barry Hall, and I think if you could create some one-on-one opportunities, Bradshaw, one of the most powerful forwards strength-wise in the game. Hasn't happened too often. We've only seen the one-on-one chance so far. At the moment, there's a bit more space. So I reckon get Jesse White out, get Goods up the ground, and just see if you can get a test of strength between Bradshaw and Dawson. Bradshaw will win every time.
Hands on it.
McVeigh and Bolton in there.
Let him up. Thank you, thank you.
Clint Jones.
No, you went down, he stayed out of your back. Thank you.
McBurney there officiating. Seavey the tap. Good momentum from McVeigh to just get the Swans going in the right direction. Kennedy knocked off the footy, and it's Hayes and Jones, a few hard nuts for the Saints. Gilbert with the spearing left foot ball. Here's Zach Dawson in lots of space. He lets fly wider than he would have liked, but at least he found his target on the bounce revolt. Back for Milne. Not the usual way he'd like to enter the 50. And away comes Bolton or Shaw. Had his head ripped off by Armitage.
Smart from Zach Dawson there before, really running Daniel Bradshaw up the ground. His kick wasn't great, but Bradshaw hasn't played a game pre-season, so the strength advantage with Bradshaw, the fitness will be with Dawson.
Reece Shaw suckered the free kick well. Teammate Craig Bolton put him under the pump there. Matner's kick is not great. Farron Ray did enough. So St Kilda's ball. 5.5 minutes from half-time. The Saints by 8 points, but Sydney have hung in. St Kilda gathered momentum in the second half of the opening quarter, and it looked as though they might really gain control. Revolt to Milne. Good left foot centering ball, but Big Mumford got the hands around it. McVeigh the crumb, Kennelly the takeaway. Now more, and the Swans are running in a wave, and there's a whistle, and there'll be a relay free.
Yeah,
Sydney's ball.
Yeah, Sydney player put down behind play, Kennelly.
So Bradshaw will be finding, no doubt, that this Sydney team is very different from the Brisbane ones he's experienced in the way in which it brings the ball forward and creates scoring opportunities. Important contest this, and St Kilda look like winning at Gilbert. Well tackled though by Kennedy. So it's 50-50 again.
Look to the bottom right of your screen here for the contact on Kennelly.
Not much in that.
Just more than 5 metres off the ball.
Thrown on the wing. It's an interesting discussion point, Tim, about Bradshaw and the style of play, about whether this Swans style suits him or not. The ball goes to centre half forward. Baker knocked it away.
Gee, look at Baker. He was up there for the spoil, brought it to ground and then put the tackle on.
And Malcheski started off trying to lay a tackle, and in the end he got tackled himself, all while the ball was in mid-air.
There's Baker, third man up, and then cat-like at ground level.
Now out onto the wing. Scrap in again. Fashion forward for the Saints. Shaw, who's found McWelter, has got a lot tighter on him in this quarter. Away goes O'Keefe, using Kirk to get out of defence now. And he can come to the vacant wing, which he does happily for McGlynn. Couple of leads to choose between, and he goes for Bradshaw. And he is such a mark and kick player, Bradshaw, that's probably where it actually does suit him. Long ball to full forward, got plenty on it. I reckon it's enough. No! Oh, the umpire loved the theatre.
In the end, great effort by Graham to get back to get a fingernail on it.
We'll get another look at that, hopefully, and see just how close it was. St Kilda by 7 points, but this game has really tightened up. Baker to Jones. Had missed by Montagna, but had time to atone for it. Lofts it. Kaczynski arrived like a truck. Third in line. St Kilda working it around. Hayes puts it back there and beyond. And Goddard. Oh, that was a strong effort. And he got rid of the man who needed to be on his feet holding him. A good placement, setting it up for Peake. It's 2-on-2. Kennelly closes. Clever kick from Peake. And it does the job. And the Saints have 9 straight. Brett Peake gets his first for his new club.
Go back to Brendan Goddard there. What a brilliant play from him. One-on-one contest, and then just to play on. Summed it up so well, and the quick play on is what has been catching the Swans out. So there he is. His opponent falls over. I'm away, and now there's space inside 50. Sums it up beautifully, and it was a good effort from Peake, because Kennelly actually played this well. Kennelly switched opponents, put Peake under a bit of pressure. Great goal.
And again, Luke, a kick to a player running back into space, running back with the flight of the ball, opening up that big space, fast break, and makes it very hard to defend that. Let's have a look at this one.
The whole ball has to cross the line, which is important there.
Well, the Sydney fans don't think it was a goal.
Back to 13 points, but it's going to go Sydney's way here through Bolton. It just looked like they've got their forward line leads. It's not going to show now, but it looks like they've got their system working a little bit better. Unfortunately, that time it came unstuck as Saints were able to take it away. But Matner lays it off to Malcheski. Goods had Gwilt covered, had him dead and buried. Oh, even he can't kick a goal like that, but that's almost as good. It should be a goal assist, and Adam Goods has plenty to smile about there.
Well, he's a soccer star. He's kicked a soccer goal and hooked this one back in. Oh, that's just super.
And it's not a fluke, the fact you've got the coordination to make that good a purchase when you're trying to fly your blue at it mid-air.
So Daniel Bradshaw for his first goal in Sydney colours. He can celebrate that now.
People look at this and say, oh, good luck. He just was fortunate enough for it to happen. But he's done it twice this quarter. A lot of players try that and don't make any contact at all. Goods is just one of those blokes that he can do unbelievable things. Goal from nothing.
And let's have a look at it again. Oh, he's flicked that back. He'd get a game for Man United, Luke. Mumford in the ruck for the Sydney Swans, yet to have a kick, mark or handball. This will be his first possession. I like the big fella. 18 games for Geelong last year.
He's had 4 tackles, Rob.
Well, that's good.
Got to pump him up a bit.
Slipped through Gilbert's fingers. Jude Bolton, Malcheski, McGlynn. Sydney with a sniff at the moment. Craig Bolton working his way up beyond the middle. Not sure what he was after there, but there's still a bit of a chance. Jack, well tackled by Blake. And a throw in now.
Jesse White on screen there has had fairly quiet first half. Just the 4 disposals. Taking a look at the Swans teammates, Rob, getting around to Daniel Bradshaw, which is just sensational. Wrapped to have him at the footy club. Jesse White's someone who just needs to get involved a little more often. He's been quiet, but his opponents have also been effective.
King back into the maze. Gilbert. Malcheski gets ragdolled. Play on the call. Oh, Bolton met Revolt there.
Hard night for Nick Revolt because basically it's 2 against 1 most of the time for him, with Grundy and Bolton back there. Got the extra man in defence, Sydney.
Well done by Armitage. And it's over. Now, I guess for Jesse White, Darcy, you've got Goods down there and Bradshaw down there, so he's not going to necessarily get a huge amount of opportunities.
Just been led to the ball a couple of times tonight. Blake's played him pretty well so far.
This is Geary. Oh, Revolt with a deft touch. Quick look over the shoulder by Snyder. There wasn't much to go to, and hence his innovation. Roberts Thompson couldn't get the ball away quick enough, and it was very effective as it turns out. Shaw, Kennelly, and now Kennedy.
One of the great things Ty Kennelly does, always goes through the corridor, always tries to take the opposition players on. They're going to love having him back this year, especially after a year where he, by reports, got over all those niggling injuries. Feels good again.
And if Malcheski, who looks to be right back to close to his best, and Matner and Shaw, that gives them 4 running half-backs, doesn't it?
It's a big improvement on their lineup last year.
Big leap right on the siren. Fascinating contest here. 9 straight St Kilda. Deadly accurate in front of goal. The Saints 7-5-47 this game, not without a bit of feeling.
No, it's been a really good contest, Hutto, and well done to the Sydney Swans. They had those 5 goals kicked against them in that first term, 5 in a row by the Saints, but they've worked their way right back into the contest.
Straight kicking, freakishly so. 9 straight goals. Ben McAvoy in the ruck against Mark Seaby as Stefan Grun bounces it perfectly, and Seaby gets first hand on it. O'Keefe in the centre exchange, and the umpire will be doing it again.
Stevie Milne well up outside the forward 50 at the moment, maybe trying to get the ball kicked over his head and turn Craig Bolton around.
Well, again, it was Seaby to O'Keefe, and again, there was absolutely nowhere to go.
Good matchups all over the ground. There's Craig Bolton, who has normally got Revolt. He's got the job on Milne. Kieran Jack has gone on to Jason Graham, who was dominant in the first quarter. Jack's just kept him out of it in the second quarter.
Jude Bolton to Moore. Kirk. Swans ploughing it forward. McVeigh knocking it, but to no one. And Baker covers for the Saints, delivers to Del Santo. Slots it to Gwilt. Goods' opponent. Eases it off the left, but didn't quite have the carry to Revolt. McAvoy just a little sloppy with the hand pass, but Ray to Del Santo. And now a throw in between wing and half forward, up towards half forward for the Saints.
Ryan O'Keefe for the most disposals on the ground with 16. Reece Shaw 15. Del Santo the most prolific for the Saints with 14. Opportunity for Moore and Bolton. The pressure was growing. Baker with the snatch. Kick to the top of the goal square. Oh, Kosicki almost so close. Kennelly couldn't really take it with him. Shaw fashioning in a kick. It's going to come back pretty quickly, you would think, because Milne's going to get there first. I think he was exhausted like the rest of them, looking for some respite. And it's out of bounds. Kosicki again.
Had an interesting night, Justin Kosicki. Had good position and just fell over at the wrong time.
They crash and bash at that throw in. Goddard got in the road of a few. Jack just hacking it forward. Saints playing an extra man behind here, and it's Gilbert. He spotted Graham, but Goods was right onto it there, and he sprinted back Goods. Superb anticipation. Unfortunately, just lost his footing at the crucial stage. Stays involved. He might get it yet as he just waits out the side. Jack dives on top of it. A few pleas for holding the ball, but it's going to be another ball up.
Good effort from Goods there to cover Jason Graham. Picked it at the right moment. Saints just do everything to try and free Sam Gilbert up.
Jude Bolton, Jack O'Keefe again, but they are not giving him a centimetre. Goddard's done that well, and St Kilda a chance here. Geary goes for home. Did it carry? No, it didn't. It's the first blot on the St Kilda copybook. It was a good effort from Jaron Geary. Just needed 5 more centimetres, and it was their 10th goal.
Malcheski. Oh, he's put too much on the kick. Somehow it got through to Kennelly. Malcheski, a relieved man, and it opened things up substantially, but now with the next turnover, it meant there were 3 men for St Kilda, and dangerously one of them was Revolt. Grundy did really well then, stuck to his guns, but he might be hurting yet as Revolt summed it up. No margin for error. Magnificent goal. It's his 3rd.
Just a poor kick by Kennelly. Sets Farron Ray up. He goes for the tall timber. Now Grundy almost marks that, Luke, and that's the 2nd time he's almost marked the footy. And it's spilt over the back, and Nick Revolt's capitalised with goals.
Yep, 2 big mistakes. He's generally done pretty well on the one-on-ones, but a couple that have cost him.
Good start to the season to Revolt. Had his most productive year last year with 78, number 3 in the comp. Has 3 here. Might be more to come yet. Here's Richards, front half for Sydney. Wilt over it. White paddling, no result for the Swans though. St Kilda, a tough, mean team, and they hold up well here. Ray to Jones. No delay. Waiting for the right outlet. Blake back to Ray. And now there it is. And it's McAvoy camped under it. Bringing himself to grief. Goes Ruckman. Goes to a one-on-one. Be a throw in.
Cosy flush on the nose, that one.
King tangling with Seaby, who's had 20 hit-outs tonight, Mark Seaby. In fact, 22 now. King's had 10. The ball heads into the middle of the ground, opens up for Shaw. McWalter couldn't shut him down.
Can't believe this. I can't believe that this fella is being allowed to play alone by himself in the back line.
Alone and unattended. That was Gilbert, and that's Blake. And this is Goddard. As the Saints take the long way home, but until then it was unimpeded. He goes short, centre half forward, and still they keep control of it. Del Santo needed to go back to McWalter, who was spinning, but going nowhere. Goods and Kirk collaborate well. Shaw as they head forward. Out to meet it White. Hasn't had a big influence on the game. Bradshaw, which way will he go? Well, he's going to have to go up. And it almost came down in the right spot. It wasn't great service for him. But still they're alive. Jared Moore, centering ball. Great thought process. Didn't panic. And Jack converts.
Beautiful centering ball there from Moore. Jesse White has done the right thing. His execution not great. He could see a one-on-one with Bradshaw. I hold back Bradshaw in the one-on-one against Dawes, and he's just physically more powerful. Kick wasn't great, but it put pressure on the defence, and in the end opened up for Moore. Great centering ball. Like what Jesse White tried to do, he got the footy in quick. That's really smart play from Moore. Great vision, set it up to Jack, who played on from close range. The quick movement's good. Ross Lyon not overly wrapped in that one.
Moore and Jack, a couple of Sydney's hopes for the future, both edging towards 50 games. They did it well. Wilt wins this exchange. Montagna through the middle. Milne, Craig Bolton with him. Revolt. Bolton stealing, Milne stealing, St Kilda dangerous, just tackled on the kick and didn't get the accuracy. Another miss to the Saints, raining behinds.
Great chase from Ryan O'Keefe there. Milne had got through traffic. O'Keefe just worked back, enough pressure to put him off the goal.
Goddard was on his own away to the left too, which I think he let Stephen Milne know about. As we said, Stephen Milne can't be faulted on his unselfishness these days. Malcheski to the wing. Mumford might get a free here. Rawlsey might double his stats for the night. In fact, he's already had 2. This is his 3rd. King closes in with a play on call. Up to half forward. Here's Gilbert again. Shelling peas across half back. Over to Lenny Hayes. His 11th disposal coming up. He's had a massive night. Here's Mumford with the one hand. King had the other. He was just burrowing in. Milne's looking lively, and the umpire says, you had your chances. Fairly red hot, but that's the way it goes these days. Bolton, indecision written over his face because there's no one clear. There's a really short option in Malcheski, or the longer one, which is a one-on-one. Moore and Baker engage against Baker. There it is. So Moore at half forward. White the long target if he wants him. Bradshaw in short. Somewhere in between was where the kick went. And Clint Jones takes the grab. So it's 9 points the difference. We've got the traditional arm wrestle taking place at the moment between the Saints and the Swans. Hope you're enjoying Saturday night footy from ANZ Stadium.
And it's not exactly clear which way it's going to fall. That's fallen out on the full, so it's Sydney's ball.
Yeah, his skills and touch just not quite right, Lenny Hayes. Missed a slice of the pre-season.
Darsh, you tipped the Swans before the game. Have you got a feeling as to which way this is going to go?
It's a real toss of the coin. It's exactly what you would expect. Close encounter, lots of stoppages. And the Saints have really got their zone going well. That is an awful kick.
Yeah, the rust showing on Kennelly. He's had some bad moments. He's had some good ones too. Rishaw's been good, but the Swans are under pressure. Hayes' kick was well smothered. Still the Saints press. Earl McWalter was brave there. Head over the ball. Pack over the ball. Ball up.
Saints are really starting to own the corridor with their numbers back, and it's forcing the Swans into really being precise by foot. Just starting to hesitate there, and Ty Kennelly, who normally is a beautiful kick, as you said, a year out of the game. Unusual mistake from him.
Mumford to Richards, somehow to McVeigh, and now Lewis Jetta swings into action, decides to handle. They're on here. Bradshaw is loose, and he can go over to White. As long as there's no mistake, it will be a Sydney goal. They've got through the St Kilda zone, and they're within 3 points.
Yeah, this is the way they play. Tight, in close football, and then fast breaks. And Zach Dawson caught between a rock and a hard place. What does he do? Stay back and guard his opponent or push forward? He had to push forward in the end, and of course just an easy one over his head.
So it's a one-kick game. Swans right in it. The Saints didn't lose until round 20 last year. They will be hard-pressed to avoid defeat in round 1, but they're still in front. Terrific contest. Mumford having a pretty good quarter here. Geary in Luke Ball's old number pulled off the kick. Jones, ever brave. Ray, King, hand pass not getting a result.
Oh, good tackling
by McVeigh and punished.
Super tackling by the Swans.
McVeigh wastes no time, goes for the leading Bradshaw. Good recovery, and McVeigh kept coming, followed his kick in. Nowhere to go. Centering ball, that was the place for it. Moore just couldn't break the tackle. Still a chance though. Kennedy to Jack, who kicked one earlier in the quarter. He gets nothing here. St Kilda's ball.
That last chain that saw the Swans kick the last goal started with an interesting disposal here. Is that legal, Das?
No. Should be incorrect disposal, but play on was a call.
As it is now, as the ball goes out to the wing. Ray flies. Hayes, not quite.
Big win before in centre wing for the Swans. It was a huge contest, bouncing around, and McVeigh just came in and nailed a big, strong tackle. This is what this game will be about now. Last part of it, there'll be lots of contests, lots of tackles. Who can win these clearance situations? Have a look at it now.
Mumford, big body strength involved in that. Bolton just slapping it forward. McVeigh, time for a quick glance. He saw a few players that were in good position. One of them was O'Keefe. Again, the Saints defence closing. Hayes pummeling the legs, trying to get them going. Geary back to Gilbert. A momentary lapse allowed the Swans defence, or their forwards playing as defenders, to close it one more time. Baker, O'Keefe, a big grab. It's loose again. It's up for grabs. Gwilt comes through. They're all having a crack. Slammed on the boot and cleared. Oh, Peak back out to the wing. And now an opportunity for Snyder. Montagna up to Revolt, who takes the mark, and it's St Kilda's turn to pierce through the defence.
Geary.
And it's Jaron Geary who can take the mark.
And he ran well, Geary, Hutto. This kid who's got the mark, he bolted from the centre of the ground. When the ball went out to the wing, he realised that his team had the numbers. He said, if we get it, I'm a chance. And he just ran and ran and ran. While all this is going on, you can see him going down the corridor, and the turnaround by Nick Revolt spots him up.
Played 15 games last year, but was not used in the finals. Wearing Luke Ball's old number. Jaron Geary's kick is safely through.
Last couple of goals have come from a breakthrough play. Defence have been caught out. Revolt's second and third lead there on Grundy. Has been pretty quiet tonight. Nick Revolt played on 2 opponents, but when he gets free, turns and plays on into an open forward line, so Kilda look very dangerous.
Sam Gilbert in picture had plenty of the ball in the back line. He's been the one who's been left alone back there, and that's a dangerous thing to do. Taken 8 marks, a lot of them unopposed like that, and just very quick and slick on his left side.
Saints again by a kick and a half. Seaby climbing over the top of McAvoy, but Armitage gets it back to the St Kilda big man. Here's Revolt. Matner onto the spill. Del Santo came hard and won the free kick. Matner was just not quite aware, I don't think, that he was being closed upon, and he held it for 2 strides too long.
Revolt down the other end of the ground. Nick Revolt gone down, and accidentally, I think.
He's up and in the contest there with 2 against him. So the Saints, having kicked a steadying goal, in a scoring position here. The ball about 45 metres out. Seaby and McAvoy. Jones wrapped up by McVeigh. Kennelly, just a little fumble there, but he was pushed in the bag. Lucky to get off the hook there, Tig. And now he's away. Wonder if we'll see one of those hair-raising runs at some stage tonight that used to electrify the crowds here in his golden years with the Swans. Here's Farron Ray, and Montagna's camped under it.
Well done by Ray. Read the play, intercepted. Not only did he get the spoil, he got the recovery, and you can see the congratulations coming from all around. Dangerous, dangerous kick there. Gave it too much airtime. Ray, wonderful interception.
He's had 6 disposals for the quarter, Farron Ray.
And many goals coming on the counter after a mistake is made by either side tonight. You just can't afford them. Montagna to stretch the lead to 15 points, and he should, but he doesn't. It's 10.
So what St Kilda are doing now really well is just getting to the right positions on the ground where the Swans have got to be very accurate by foot. We've seen Ty Kennelly turn one over. We saw that last pass just set up. Farron Ray got his hand on it. So Sydney have really still got to back themselves in. They've still got to go for the passes through the corridor. Just got to execute them a little better than they have done the last 3 or 4 minutes.
It's the trademark of what St Kilda were able to do last year, wasn't it? Kennelly goes close to the line, taking no chances that time, and it's over and out.
If you go into your shell, Hutto, and you don't keep taking a risk and kick it down the line, that plays into their hands more. So it takes some courage, a different form of courage, and that's backing your ability to kick the footy.
Kazitsky in the ruck now. Kazitsky in the ruck, and McAvoy gone forward.
Armitage actually got the tap over the top that time. Kennedy dispossessed, holding the ball. The umpire said illegal disposal, and it goes to Montagna, who pops it up for Kazitsky. Tough one to mark. The conditions. Kennelly there to sweep it up. Sees Peake coming at him, and
because he's in trouble on the ground there, looks like he'll be okay. But I like that, Rod, because he contested at the ruck stoppage. Then he bolted forward.
Shoulder, I think, does.
Just landed awkwardly there on his shoulder.
He's straight back up and into the contest in the ruck. Got it down, but it's the Swans that take it away. Mattner initially, then Richards spreads it wide. Oh, Bolton, little unlikely mistake. Now it's tough for O'Keefe. Got the fumbles versus Goddard. Wasn't really able to dispose of it cleanly. Bolton locks it under, looking for a holding the ball decision, but it goes against him. It goes to Goddard and to Jones and to Revolt. Almost marked it. He's not out of it yet. Taps it back. Kazitsky, time to steady. Maybe too much time, and misses. He just kicked through it a bit high and hard. 11 points between the Swans and the Saints now.
He certainly banged it, didn't he?
He did.
Okay, your time starts now.
So Mattner brings it in for the Swans. Their defence under pressure over the last couple of minutes.
And this kick is under pressure. That's a really good shot what's in front of Ty Kennelly here. So he's got to be precise with this kick.
St Kilda seeming to sense this could be the moment as they've got themselves a kick and a half in front. They're looking to extend the lead. Free kick to Kirk. Sydney being very careful here. Kennelly. He's run a fair way. Had to kick in the end. And it's St Kilda with men at the ball, but the bounce is kind for Sydney. Jack overran it. Might yet extract it. Did well. Jude Bolton. Oh, it's a good win for Sydney. Roberts Thompson thumping it into the 50. A little aimless. White brought down from behind. Kennedy hard at it. Richards has a man loose. O'Keefe just can't get to the drop. Takes it outside 50. Malcheski back to O'Keefe from 60. Pulled off the kick. Just couldn't get the leverage. McAvoy in the way and Schneider.
Out wide to McGualter. Adam Goods looking a bit frustrated there because he got away from his direct opponent and was a deep target, but as we saw O'Keefe, there's Montagna going to the bench. O'Keefe just couldn't get enough on the kick, and so it came unstuck, and the Saints now threw McGualter across half back. It's their turn to just be locked down a bit for the moment. The Swans are 1-on-1. Being told there's no one on the mark there, so they've gone off Dawson, and his kick is no good.
Under 6 minutes left in the third term. Next goal's a big one in the game.
Got to get down to cords.
And Lee Montagna looks like he's hurt his right shoulder there. He just in that tackle that he tried to make there, and that doesn't look good the way he's carrying that arm. And yes, the right shoulder definitely.
It's a loss for St Kilda if he's out of the game.
Was it Kazitsky who crunched him?
Probably. Sydney a chance here. McVeigh. Hemmed in. O'Keefe is a left footer. Good smother from Blake. Jude Bolton curled the wrong way. Still alive. Throw in. It is a tense, tight, typical St Kilda Sydney struggle. In this modern era in which both play such efficient defence. King. Don't know whether he meant to do that. It reduces the margin to 10 points.
So Del Santo with the responsibility here of bringing it back into play, and it's a considerable responsibility when we've seen how hard it is to hit a clean target. Like the Swans, he decides to go to himself and then cover as much ground as he can, but Seaby's going to send it back the way from where it came out. Takes a really good mark, and he's moved pretty well tonight. 25 hit-outs, 8 disposals, 3 marks. Decides get the ball into about 30 out from goal. Oh, Bradshaw almost. Richards was there, had a moment, couldn't take it more. Bolton, O'Keefe, a trip.
He's played kick in danger there, Hutto, which is not something you see played very often at all. It'll go against Brendan Goddard. We'll look at it again. In fact, it was Jones, and
it's a very generous free kick.
It is.
As I said, I mean, it was probably there, but they just pay it so rarely these days. So Ryan O'Keefe.
It's a really big kick at goal in the context of this game. Ends up being low scoring.
Got one from this angle in the first quarter, Luke, and I would say 10 metres further out.
13 goals, 7 last year, O'Keefe.
Never.
1 goal, 2 tonight after that. Here's a look at Montagna. Let's see if it was Cozzy.
Of course it was.
Hello. Hello, Coz.
What do you want me to do, mate?
Another Kazitsky calamity.
And Jesse White at the other end, you'd be worried about them. Killing their own teammates, I mean.
Margin 9 points. And it is still impossible to predict the winner. I guess you've got to lean St Kilda's way simply because they're in front. And goals are hard to come by. Long ball, Goddard. Seaby, Kazitsky, big men up. Montagna's back. Blake, Gilbert. And Montagna again. Revolt, Grundy with him. Edged him under it. And it's okay. Played it well. Looks more and more like Matthew Scarlett in a Sydney jumper now that Scarlett's had his haircut. To Kennelly, to Jetta. Oh, and he makes a rare mistake.
Got a free kick, though. I love that kick from Grundy. Took the mark. He went lateral, took a bit of a risk across the ground. Now, Jetta, you'd normally back him to get around, and the Swans are actually away.
Gee, look at the numbers in Sydney's forward 50. Absolutely packed.
It's every St Kilda player almost forward of the Swans attacking end of the centre square. A St Kilda free kick for a hold off the ball. McWalter will take it. And on the rebound, things can really happen in this game.
Look at Grand go.
Peak, long ball in his direction. Reece Shaw's quick, though. He's gone with him. He played it well. But what a free kick for a deliberate. They won't get it.
Good effort there.
Reece Shaw.
Yeah, well done, Reece Shaw.
Bit of jumper attention there. King from behind. Kazitsky over the top. Couldn't clean anyone up that time. Bolton. Hayes barging through. Seaby. Tough one to handle. Gilbert was the first to get back on it, but White beats him to it and was very smart with the handball. Some stress for Kennedy. Had to go and just get it away, and there was not much else he could do. Blake, nice spot into the middle. Big King. No one comes at him. Amazingly, he's able to get clear and kick it straight to the next man up the line. That was Milne. Yeah, his kick not so flash. Goddard somehow keeps it going in St Kilda's favour. Not for long. Kennedy looked inside, saw nothing, so kicked it to the boundary. Unfortunately for him, Gilbert was ready to go. And he goes to Goddard.
This bloke uses it well.
Let's see how his left foot's looking. Setting it up, predictably, to Revolt. Swans defence knew that was coming. Montagna losing ground, but not the footy. Revolt, some reinforcements arrive. Armitage, Baker, back to Revolt. Just kicks it to the top to 2 one-on-ones. Kazitsky and Roberts-Thompson. McWalter, quick thinking, great result. $15 points now, which seems an enormous margin between the two teams.
And the Revolt kick to a dangerous spot to the big fella. All Roberts-Thompson could do was get a fist on it, and from that point it was going to ricochet anywhere. Went to St Kilda's advantage.
There's a matchup. Jason Graham had 11 disposals in the first term. He's only had one since. So Reece Shaw and Kieran Jack have done the job, really taken him out of the game, and Ross Lyon has now put him into the goal square.
So a big goal that for the Saints. Hayes wins it away from the middle. Kazitsky, it was touched off the boot. Play on call. Malcheski's been good tonight. Getting back to that form of 2007 when he was runner-up in the best and fairest. Goods to Jetta. Oh, he is so silky. He's a beautiful mover. Malcheski again. Good move, Sydney. More McVeigh. Missed. White with the hand pass. Everything has to be right in a game like this. Anything less than precision brings it undone. Kazitsky bringing it down to not much. King does the roving for him. It's 2-on-1 Sydney's way. Throw in the result.
Just wonder what Kazitsky was doing there. It's unusual to have the two ruckmen because he came up over the top of King, and the two of them are getting set for this ruck contest as well.
So Cozzy's pushed up the ground. He's going to go third man up, and Seaby saying, someone get in there and block him.
Free kick to McVeigh. His night, 20 disposals. Clint Jones has had 15. Swans just need a spark before three-quarter time. Well, they need a goal anyway. And this could be the opportunity they were waiting for. Shaw has a quick look behind and then heads straight to centre-half forward.
And this is Mumford who's got it, Hutto. I think Paul Roos will come down at three-quarter time, and so if we keep going down the line, very hard to get through the zone of the St Kilda. Got to go back through the corridor. It opens up to Reece Shaw, and all of a sudden you've got a bit of space inside 50. So take some courage, take a risk through the corridor, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to score.
So big Shane Mumford, not a big possession winner, but does good, hard follow-up work, lays lots of tackles. He's kicked 3 goals, 1 in his career until now. This his 22nd game. This is a big kick from 50 metres out. Gives it his best shot, but it's away to the right. That could be a costly one for the Swans if they could go into the final term under 10 points.
He's a big unit, Luke. You think he could trim down a bit? I'm not sure whether he just looks huge.
2 or 3 years ago, he was a massive, massive man. He was about 140 kilos and has lost about 25.
So important seconds here before three-quarter time. Hard for the Swans to claw back this deficit in the last quarter against St Kilda. McWalter, St Kilda won't want to make a mistake here. Neither will Sydney for that matter. Schneider, McWalter, Montagna got a nice bounce. Revolt.
He was held.
Graham it was.
He was held. Umpire 5 metres away, and you can see Paul Roos. How could that happen with just seconds to go? And crunch kick this.
Really good move from Ross Lyon, because Jason Graham has been completely taken out in the last 2 quarters. Had one possession, put him forward.
He can kick the journey from on the 50. Jason Graham kicks the biggest goal of the night, and he stretches St Kilda's lead to 20 points. That's the biggest lead of the evening.
You know, it's really hard for forwards to lead up to the ball. I'm not all that happy with what we're seeing here as far as this surface goes.
All right, there's the bounce. Last quarter underway. Goddard takes command. Left foot kick. There's an extra Swans player there, but they can't stop Snyder taking the mark. Del Santo flashes past, decides to go by foot instead. It was designed for Stephen King, who drifted into the 50, but Matner is able to gobble it up and sends the Swans away through Bolton. Jack a little disorientated for a moment, but regained his composure, takes the mark. Nice movement and gives Jesse White a chance for a one-on-one. Sees off Blake, then has to contend with Gilbert, who does the mopping up again.
Been really important in the game, Sam Gilbert, when he's been able to get free, and they try every tactic to get him as their loose man. He just reads it so well. Good at ground level, good in the air.
Again, lots of numbers around this contest.
Again, the two St Kilda ruckmen, Stephen King and Kazitsky, coming over the top. Now I think Kozzy's hurt his ankle. He can get himself hurt, this fella. It's an interesting ploy, Luke, to see this happening. We saw it for the last 5 minutes of that third quarter. Here they are again.
Because it gets Kozzy into the game, gets him up and running.
O'Keefe spoon feeding his teammate McVeigh, who was running by. Let's have a look at Kozzy as he see how he landed here.
Oh yeah, just landed on the foot of Stephen King.
Try again inside the 50.
See Kozzy lurking there, Huddo. It just puts the other ruckman, Mark Seavey, under a bit more pressure.
There's 28 players in the forward 50 at the moment.
Yeah, well, there's no one in one half of the ground. You can just see.
They're all in a corner of the ground almost, Rob, aren't they?
Yeah, and that's why if the Saints do get a fast break, they've got players like Revolt, Snyder, Montagna to run back into space.
Somehow through the maze, Sydney have to construct at least 4 goals.
So what they're doing here is they're opting to have Malcheski back for that particular play. Great shot up the ground. You can see Malcheski there is the loose for the Swans, because they can't risk a turnover and then Revolt one-on-one with Grundy. So they're allowing Kazitsky to go third man up.
Here's Goods. He's the man who has the brilliance to break it open. McVeigh bending it back. Brilliantly done. Adam Goods, the architect, but it was a brilliant kick.
Play the percentages, the Swans, don't they? They don't panic, they don't throw everything out, they stick to their same game plan. It's won them a lot of games under Paul Roos for a long period of time, and they just work the angles. McVeigh with so much traffic around, great goal.
Adam Goods just sensational. The bash and crash, didn't see most of it there, but he was the one who forced that ball forward. Set it up for McVeigh, and his banana kick was a beauty, but Adam Goods probably given us 3 or 4 of the highlights of the night.
They'll need a couple more if they're going to be in the money at the end of the game. O'Keefe a handball to Kirk, didn't do him a lot of favours. Goddard charges on in, it slips out the back. Nice little give from McGlynn, and now it's Keneally that takes it out and finds himself running in ever diminishing circles. Kicks to half forward. Here's Goods again, almost. Another look at Adam Goods from a moment ago, Wolsey.
Yeah, I like this. Look at that whack straight through the middle. Well, we'll call that a handball. And just sets up his little mate.
Hayes that time is the extra man up, and they work it to Keneally, the Swans, and there's a few coming at the footy. It goes over the head of White. Sweeping at the back that time was Zach Dawson, and it's over and out. Some 15-20 metres around.
Finding his pace and feel of the game tight. Keneally's had some really good moments, and a couple of times where at his best he normally hits those sort of targets.
He's had 23 disposals, so as you said, finding it hasn't been a problem. King, the ball bounces back. Moore, O'Keefe, McVeigh from one step. It's astray by a considerable margin. And speaking of margins, 14 points the difference. We've gone 4 minutes in the last quarter. Frustration there for Jared McVeigh.
Just so hard to penetrate against St Kilda. Short to Blake, to Ray. Long ball now. Craig Bolton against Graham. Craig Bolton, an old pro. Graham edging it away, but straight to Malcheski. And with one knee held together by a synthetic graft, his game is really coming together. Here's Gwilt. Oh, that was sloppy. And it gives Kennedy a chance. Goods again. He's the go-to man. Moore, long range. Good kick. Goal! Here come the Swans.
Great goal. It's alive again. Gee, the synthetic grass is obviously better than I thought it was these days, Tim.
Have a look at Gwilt. This surface is dangerous.
Goods involved again in the scoring chain, and it's Jared Moore who's able to work at home. Crowd starting to get involved, making some noise. Swans coming with a rush. A couple of goals at the start of the last quarter. McVeigh across to McGlynn, around the body to half forward. Jesse Watts really charging out of the ball at the moment. Hasn't really been able to control too many. He's had 7 disposals and 1 goal, but you can't fault him for his efforts.
Saints have won the overall clearances at the moment, 36-28. They become so important now. Look at the numbers you'll see around the contest. One-on-ones everywhere, hard footies to be won. And as you get tired in round 1, it's so important to win the clearances.
Goods, who didn't do a lot in the third quarter. Looks as though he's still running on top of the ground. He's had a couple of big touches already in this last quarter. As we know, 3 goals for the night.
Jeez. Against Armitage.
Adam Goods has actually been involved in 8 what they call scoring chains. So he's had an involvement in 8 passes of play that has led to a score, which is more than anyone else on the ground. Maybe he's still got some to come. Gwilt, his direct opponent, finds Goddard, but he just looks around and sees humanity everywhere. And so he decides to handball. And they just try and keep it alive until they can get someone free. Revolt comes late, and he comes with absolute class and skill. Looks up and sees lots of open spaces. Not a lot of free men, though, on offer. And good hard work down the ground by Kazitsky. So he's got the mark on the wing, but he knows that Revolt's going to take his time to work down the ground, holds things up. Armitage says go, gets it long to about 30 out. Peak one-on-one with Jetta. Try to use his experience and probably extra body strength, but wasn't able to take the mark, and you can see what happened. The clean-up operation, Malcheski, Mumford and Bolton, and now out onto the wing with Bradshaw.
This is holding the ball decision before, right on the boundary line, right in front of our commentary position. The umpire said you held it under,
and the umpire's wrong, because there are about 6 pairs of hands on it.
Well, that berated Sydney defence, berated by the coach at 3/4 time, stood up under pressure then. It'll need to do it many more times in this final quarter if Sydney are to snatch this game. But they're still there. They are a remarkable team. You'd have to say 20 points down on St Kilda at the last change is almost no win, but they're coming back.
They're just winning the clearances in this second half, Tim. Time and again, they've just about doubled the clearances against St Kilda. 19-8 since half time.
Mumford gets that big body in front of Stephen King, both former Geelong ruckmen. Here's McWalter for the Saints, and he's clear. And he pumps it into a wide open 50. Roberts-Thompson, a little fumble and a very sloppy hand pass. Grundy, uncertainty here from Sydney.
Did it well.
Kennelly back to Grundy. Men running forward of him, and he loops it over the top to Kieran Jack. And now to Jetta. Can he work some magic in this last quarter? He could be a match winner. Too strong for goods. Jones, Gilbert just pulled off the kick, but he got plenty of it. And St Kilda have men at the ball here. Milne, McWalter. This looks good for the Saints. And Kozitzki is within range with that thumping weapon of a right boot of his.
McAvoy running to the square, but Cozzy not interested.
This is his range, Cozzy. I like him from here. Really opens up. He had a great ability to kick long-range goals last year. St Kilda's forward structure on the break seems to have more space. It looks harder work down the Swans end. When the Saints win the footy, they appear to have a lot of one-on-ones inside 50.
So for some breathing space. Just outside 50. Has 2 for the night. He still has 2. Saints fans like that. Swans fans like that right off the boot. It's out on the full. And it's Sydney's ball, but they've got to get it out of a tight spot in this back pocket. And it's Kennelly. He doesn't want it. Who was closer, I wonder? The umpire's happy that it's Grundy.
Grundy didn't want it. Hang on.
Reset. He's run through the mark. That's unfair.
It's unfair. He's allowed to do it. Bad luck.
Grundy really didn't want to kick, but he has to. Look at Jesse White from behind. He was climbing high. Roberts Thompson was up as well. McVeigh's got the break on everyone here. Wilt pursues. Oh, Goods is elusive. Bradshaw can just see him. Oh, his kick is so wide. He should get there. He does. Now, Adam Goods, anything is possible. And he kept a calm head, and he gives it to Matner. He must have been so tempted to go around and swing the banana in, Rob.
Oh, well, he's done the team thing. He's done the percentage thing too, although he's that hot at the moment. He could have kicked the banana. But again, Adam Goods in a scoring involvement for Sydney.
He's only had 13 uses of the ball, but he's perhaps been the most effective player out there.
Oh, absolutely.
It's on the left boot of Marty Matner. And Marty Matner's boot is super short, and it's 2 points the difference.
Great to see Adam Goods playing this role. It's at times going to be frustrating for him. Tim Lane makes a very good point. Just the 13 disposals. He's used to getting 27 plus as a good game. Now as a forward, that's just not going to happen. And the way the Swans play, it'll be frustrating. Sometimes it'll come in clearly, sometimes it won't. But so classy and so good when he gets the footy. Great to see him playing that role.
Well, this was Paul Roos at three-quarter time, asking, pleading, demanding from his defenders to show something, and they certainly have. They've tightened up, and the forwards have run and created opportunities. They've started to win the balls again around the packs, and suddenly there's 2 points again between these two teams, and they've got the momentum. Modern footy, such a game of momentum. Kennedy inserts them, but now it's Gwilt who has such a huge task in this match to try and contain Adam Goods. He's had his hands full. Armitage.
Fantastic play there from Drew Bolton, just working the mark. He put a bit of pressure on Montagna, and then he saw the handball was going to go across to Gilbert on the fly. Stopped it beautifully. Rewald
at full forward, Kozitzki at centre-half forward. Surprised about that.
Here's Clint Jones. Burrows in, gets it to Montagna now. It's a whistle.
It's going against Grundy for a hold. What it did, though, Rob, was it put a lot of pressure on Heath Grundy with Rewald in the goal square, and he panicked.
The worry I have is Cozzy at centre-half forward, the ability for Sydney to run off him. And we'll see it here. Holding there. And with the 3 umpires, you've always got an umpire only 20-30 metres from you.
It's that bit around the waist that they see, isn't it?
They're being unforgiving, aren't they?
They are. Yep.
All right, we've seen over the years some times when Rewald's boot hasn't been his best friend. It was low, but it's straight enough. And the Saints go back to an 8-point lead.
The old school defenders around would be a little bit annoyed. Stephen Silvani, on the coaching panel for St Kilda, would have had 55 free kicks a week. Here's the free kick against Heath Grundy by the letter of the law now. That is going to be paid. Paul Roos reacting to that free kick.
Is he angry about the free kick or the fact that Grundy did hold? I mean, similar to Shaw's late in the third quarter, really. Saints attack again. Again, they have a little bit of breathing space. Malcheski holds up. Kirk hasn't had a big night. McVeigh, Kennedy, and the Swans aren't done with yet. McGlynn, Kennelly. Here go the Bloods to Goods. Gwilt got the fist onto it, but it slipped out the back. Goddard covers. Gwilt on his non-preferred. How will he use it? Not terribly well. It was messy. Peake, well tackled by Moore. Did he get it out? Yes, he did. Baker, kick went nowhere, but it finished with Blake to Graham. Good result for the Saints. Long ball, too long for Schneider. Covered by Malcheski for Sydney. Which way? Goes left, swings it. Montagna in the box seat. McGlynn over the top, throw in.
After that last revolt goal, they took Kosicki off, and Ross Lyons put small players up forward. He knows he's got to have runners down there because the Sydney defence has been on top in this quarter. So there's McQualter and there's Milne and there's Schneider, all quick little fellas at ground level.
Another Saturday night special. Round one. What a great start. A real arm wrestle. Clean kicks. Very hard fought. And you can see there was several possessions, none of them clean. That was touched off the boot, obviously, from Del Santo. And so it's a throw in one more time. There's the revolt Grundy. No touching at the moment. Will the ball head down their path again? They're just stationed 5 metres outside the goal square. No, it's going the other way. McVeigh really giving them something around the packs in this last quarter. Kieran Jack just hacking it forward and now regretting it. It's out on the full. So 8 points is the margin to make up. Saints happy to maintain possession. Can they affect the switch here, though? Because they wanted the Dawson okay, but there's no real options on this side. He's waiting for one to appear. It doesn't immediately. Peake now with the indecision. And he chose fairly wisely. Geary had worked hard from one side of the ground to the other. O'Keefe on the mark. He's just come back on the ground, Ryan O'Keefe. 28 disposals. One ahead of McVeigh for the night. Montagna has 23 and Revolt 20 for St Kilda. Up to half forward. Roberts-Thompson read that well through the air, but Revolt was happy just to change his guys and become a defender for a moment.
Del Santo pushed to the goal square. Kirk gone with him. That's not a bad ploy because Kirk is a master at in and under, in the stoppages, in tight finishes. So they've got Kirk out of the action there, and I reckon he's screaming out to say, hey, get me in the thick of it.
Well, back in the thick of it at half forward. The umpire's forced to intervene one more time. So as you said, the forward line features Revolt in the goal square. Del Santo, and it's Kennelly that takes over now and allows Kirk to come back into the action, and it's going to see it fairly soon, I reckon, as the ball comes straight in from Montagna. Almost Del Santo able to take the mark. Instead, it's another throw in, another stoppage for the ruckman to ply their trade and the small men to look for a small advantage because there's no space to work in at the moment. Back into play over the top. McAvoy. Schneider would love to deal a killer blow here against his old team. Not yet, at least.
And have a look at Sydney's forward line. Absolutely nobody in it. It's been the pattern that we've seen all night. And again, fast break by Sydney. They've got all of that area to run into.
Plenty of time left. Farron Ray climbing in. Hayes dangerous. Saints can't break. Within a kick of goal. Hayes back for more.
Ball up. Comes a time where the Swans down by 8 points. They kick the first 3 goals to start this final term. There's
free kick. To St Kilda. Steve McBurney from off the ball. Now, I'm not sure what he's seen. That's a big one.
It is a big call. It is a big call. Let's have a look at Revolt. Look at Revolt.
That's it. Marty Madden.
I'm just not happy with that.
That's
got to be paid. It's in the back. It's what can he do? Do you say that's okay?
Well, you do, Tim, because it's an innocuous bump. Revolt bumped him first.
Have a look at Nick. He's laughing. He's laughing at it.
It's not the spirit of the way the game's played.
That's the karma bus.
By any stretch of the imagination.
Having said that, he puts himself in a position, Das, where that can happen.
That, but we've also
Did he push him in the back?
Oh, he bumped him in the back.
Is a push in the back illegal in your laws?
Absolutely.
So why is that not a free
because
kick?
We see 100 of them a game.
Are we selective about which pushes in the back?
Because 100 pushes go on around a contest every time that are innocuous, and we let them play. It has to have an effect on the player, and that one, to me, not required.
And you can get fined for acting as well these days.
Absolutely you can.
50 metres. Oh, no, 50 metres. Goddard took the mark. Sydney player went over the mark. We'll have a look at it again. Goddard showed a lot of courage to get back here and take that.
It's Mattner again.
Yeah, well, you could also argue Goddard pushed off his line, went to the side.
Gee, that's tough, isn't it?
It's a line ball, isn't it?
Where a player is edging.
Yeah, he was going off his line, Goddard. Mattner thought he played on, but you've got to wait for the umpire to call play on.
So it's Brendan Goddard to take it out to 15 points, and he makes absolutely no mistake, and they're letting them know about it.
Let's have a look at this. Nick Riewoldt, little bit of a shove in the back there by Mattner. Riewoldt pushes him away. Mattner comes back, gives him a jolt in the back. Nick plays it up. Umpire says free kick.
Changed your mind, Dars?
Not at all.
Just checking.
Well, that only produced a behind. It was the next one that produced the goal, a 50-metre penalty. And the Swans face a growing task. It's 15 points. Mumford to Craig Bolton. Goes for Goods, but impossible for him there. There'll be a throw in. St Kilda with a stranglehold, but more than 8 minutes left. It is time enough for a team to kick 3 goals, no doubt about that. Last time they met, St Kilda won by a point in round 18 last year. Saints haven't won at this ground. They've only been here once, back in 2007. Gilbert up, couldn't hang on. Baker tied up. Good spot for Sydney. 40 metres out straight in front.
Thanks, Farron.
Again, a huge number of players around this contest. Take a great hit out. It was from Mumford.
Oh, it was, and unfortunately for Ryan O'Keefe.
Gee, it was too easy for him, wasn't it? Perfect hit out onto his left foot, his preferred side. No one near him. Let's have a look at it again. Well done by Mumford. And just a bad miss.
Had 48 hit-outs to 36, the Swans tonight.
There's the old-fashioned huddle, Luke, going back into 1980s. All the players bunched at centre-half back and then broke into space.
There's a tear to the eye walls here as Hayes kicks up to the wing. Oh, Riewoldt in amongst it. Trying to run on. Well, he did run onto Del Santo. Fashioned some sort of a handball. Kennelly as bold as ever. Malcheski innovated, but Bolton wasn't ready for it. Likewise, O'Keefe just dumped, and Hayes ploughs through for the Saints. Made it tough for Kazitsky. Swans have got it covered for the moment. Grundy services Shaw. And short out to the wing. And Malcheski takes the mark again. 25th disposal coming up for Nick Malcheski. Into Adam Goods. He's a long way from where he's going to do the most damage, up forward. Bolton over the top. Wide out to half forward, and Teddy Richards. About 70 from goal. Goes as long as he can. No real big targets. Oh, now there is. Oh, Seaby came through very late. Just couldn't hang on. And it's Peake with the help of Blake that's going to be able to take it away. And Hayes just gets there. Little half-hearted kick. Half strength meant for Riewoldt. Just brushes Jetta aside. And then gives it to Ray, and now back to Peake, and he's told by Goddard just to kick it long.
He's been all right, Peake. First game for St Kilda.
And he does kick it long. Put Schneider in a good pos. He couldn't hang on. Big Mumford. The earth moved for all of us. He gives to O'Keefe. Now to Kennelly, who doesn't know how to surrender. Long ball. Goddard back with the flight. Gives to Dawson. St Kilda holding up. Swans need 3 goals. Graham has Blake behind him. He goes sideways to Gilbert. And it's a safe play. So time now ebbing away. We're in the last 6 minutes. Stephen Baker, and the Saints will start to soak up some seconds.
Well, the Saints will try to soak it up, Tim, but what Sydney have to do now, they've got to kick 3 goals. They've got to really throw caution to the wind when they get possession.
Gilbert, an important player back there tonight, has stood in Sydney's way unopposed on many occasions. Dawson places it well. Nice kick. Montagna. Saints run forward now. King. Spoil came from Little Jack. Mumford crashing through. Bolton to O'Keefe. Needs to get onto his left if he can. Has to take it very wide. Now it's Seavey.
Had an opportunity to take Mark in the goal square, Mark Seavey, before. Had a little bit of it. He's going to be a really good player. Just needs to do that every now and then. Go forward and take a big grab.
I guess that's what Darren Jolly could offer.
Play on, said the ump.
All right.
Well, that's dropping the footy.
Gilbert squeezes it out. And it's a free kick to Marty Matner. He is everywhere at the moment where things are happening, Marty Matner.
The Karma bus is driving up and down the ground.
Well, I reckon Marty would say I deserve to get a break here. Let's see, was he caught round the neck? Yes, he was.
Swans fans might have thought of him more of as Marty Monster than Marty Matner in this last quarter, but they love him now because he puts it through. It's back to 8.
Hasn't missed a game, Marty Matner, since crossing over from Adelaide in 2007. Slotted into the side beautifully. Played a good role tonight, gone forward, kicked a couple of important goals.
Ross Lyon has taken Stephen King off, put Kazitsky into the ruck and sent McAvoy to the goal square.
Marty Matner's had an eventful last quarter. A couple of calamities down the back, a couple of goals up forward. Here's Shaw, well tackled and gone.
Great tackle from Pete.
Well, he's not happy. He didn't have prior opportunity. He, I reckon, is saying I was making an attempt to get rid of it. Let's see. And he was. There was no prior opportunity. And if there's no prior opportunity, an attempt is sufficient. He's unlucky. Peake's ball. Man on the mark on the 50.
Gee, these two teams play some close games over the years.
This could just about put paid to the Swans. Brett Peake. It's fading right. The Swans live. The margin is 9 points. We're in the last 5 minutes. There still is time. Against any other foe, you wouldn't think anyone could beat St Kilda from here. But the indomitable Swans have worked a few miracles.
Down the middle, I like it.
And it's a mark to Jack. He played on ambitiously. He'll get a result. It falls for goods. Kennelly's running forward. Oh, brave Kennelly.
He's in a bad way too.
Well, he got crunched by Zach Dawson. Can't blame Zach Dawson. He did what he had to do. He got in there, got a fist on it, just a fraction late, made body contact on Tyke.
He didn't take the mark.
You know what I liked? With that kick in, it was Kennelly who was screaming to his teammates, we've got to go down the guts, we've got to go down the middle. They did that with the kick in. And he just kept running forward. He knew the play that had to be made.
I think the landing as much as anything else.
That Dawson's done everything he can there. Take the fist and the body, and it's just a massive collision. You can see all the weight.
Swans players were saying it should have been 50. The umpire said he didn't take the mark. Not sure how he was meant to.
So the stricken Kennelly is going to be placed on a stretcher.
So who takes the kick? Who would you want to take the kick for Sydney?
I'd go with Goods. Kick the long goal.
Not sure that the Swans can nominate the player.
No, he's got it in his hand though, Goods. So he was close by. He kicked it to him.
Will Minson.
Both teams going into huddles while all of this happens. He's up on his feet. He doesn't want to be carried off.
What a beauty he is.
Well, he said the body was refreshed after not playing AFL for 12 months.
It's a good reminder for him.
He went back and fulfilled his life ambition to play in an All-Ireland championship with his father's team, County Kerry. He's done that. He's back with Sydney. He's as sick as a dog, but he'll be back. Perhaps not tonight because there aren't many minutes left.
So they're arguing about who's going to take this kick. Incredibly brave from St.Kilda to go back and do that. Goods is lurking.
Goods kicked the ball. Now, surely he wouldn't have been the closest to it.
No, they've given it to Ben McGlynn.
It was a pretty decent kick from memory.
Yep.
Who's on the mark? Nick Revolt says, I think I better go there. I reckon it better be the tallest bloke in the team.
Cozzy's gone down to the defensive goal square.
McGlynn, I reckon, knows he can't kick the distance. He
Goods is out wide.
Pass.
Goods is screaming for it.
It is very crowded inside the 50. McGlynn gives it as much as he can. It's not quite enough. It's still alive. Moore, who's done some good things up there tonight. Seaby shoveling it. Bradshaw's kick smothered. Jetta couldn't collect. Saints hold up. Tig probably with a broken nose and a rattled brain.
Some interesting handballs there. It was torrid stuff, and they all know it too. It's inside the 50 for the Swans. Goods, whistle, Sydney free.
Back against James Will, against you.
And it's going to Adam Goods. So 31 and a half minutes in, 9 points separating the team. You'd think there's still a little bit of time. Not a lot in that free kick. Played against Geary. Adam Goods has produced some special goals tonight. 3, in fact. Even though the degree of difficulty is a bit easier here, it was a more important shot, but it drifts, and with it, I think the Swans' chances may have waned.
Really needed to kick that one, didn't they? Chance to go back to the centre. He's been fantastic tonight, Adam Goods. Everything he's been involved in has virtually turned into a score.
16 disposals, 6 marks, 3 goals won, and as we've said, more than 10 scoring chain involvements.
Oh.
All right.
The pressure's getting to everybody, Luke.
It's only round 1.
Nick Del Santo, one of the better kicks in the game.
Craig Bolton putting it into the hottest spot that he can find. Kennedy, Swans pressing. There is not a postage stamp of space out there. St Kilda defenders everywhere. Moore extracting it for Jude Bolton. Now O'Keefe couldn't get it onto his left. Wobbles it with the right. Kirk just not able to get into position, and Del Santo will have another go, and this time he gets it just right, and he finds Schneider.
Great effort from Nick Del Santo. 2 years ago, that was an issue for him, actually defending when it was time to defend, and he had a big play there against Kirk, defended beautifully.
Onto the wing. Trusted option was Revolt at the back, though. There's a free kick, and it's going on. Mark initially paid, maybe. Going to Seaby. Let's fly again. You can't count Goods out. Was there interference? No. Umpire unwilling to make the call. Gilbert kicks it away.
Under composure there too, Gilbert. Wonderful effort. What they've got to do is just keep possession now. Go sideways and backwards.
Easier said than done, but they do have some options here right at the back.
Just work the clock down.
Blake. The crowd will go home.
St Kilda runner's been out to all of them. Let them know. I don't know how long there's to go, but can't be much more than about a minute.
You keep asking, Wolsey. Here's Blake in the back pocket. Up onto the wing again. Bolton has this one covered. Doesn't mark it, though. All important ball at ground level. Bradshaw right up on the wing. Montagna through it.
He's been on everything. This ump is good.
Well, he's been around.
Umpire McBurney, and good on him for making the hard calls in a tight game.
So Sydney need 2 goals. They won't get them. The Saints win the first game of their new season. They went 19 straight without defeat last year. They've had to fight to the death to win this one, but it's one in the bank in 2010.
So the Saints win by 8 points. What a terrific struggle. And these two sides, it's just another trademark match between them, isn't it?
Fantastic game of football. It was tough and brave and contested footy everywhere you went on the ground. A little more high scoring than these two teams have been in the past. A cracking game up here at ANZ Stadium. And the Saints, so good last year.